How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to the VBA. It's VBA week 2. This week, Gemma and I are taking on the Fifth Leaf, who is a good friend and an awesome person and a very good battler. He's very creative. So we knew we had our work cut out for us from the start with our little blue team. But yeah, which has been pretty fun. It's been really fun to prep with, actually. I still maintain this team turned out way better than the VDL team that we made last time when Gemma was picking the Pokemon, so yeah, pretty good. The rough plan this week was to set up Trick Room. The team builds were like generally to try and negate Mamoswine as much as possible, and try and get Trick Room up and then deal damage with Avalugg. The other two crucial parts to the team comp this week, aside from Avalugg, were Bronzong and Rapidash. Rapidash played a key role with Ally Switch and Flash Fire, and Bronzong played a pretty key role with his Levitate and obviously setting up Trick Room. And then I had like Rock Tomb to set up Policy. I had Steel Spike on Avalugg to raise both their defenses, so I had Body Press on Bronzong as well, and just kind of like, yeah, but essentially with Ally Switch, Mental Herb on Bronzong, the idea was that there's no way that 5th can deny me Trick Room, and I had a really physically defensive Bronzong, so that we could kind of deal with any like ghost stuff that was coming out from the Decidueye, and the only way the Bronzong could get O-Code was by like Life Orb Modest Special Talonflame. So yeah, felt pretty confident that the plan would be okay game 1. It was, Gemma was insistent that we had to use Rapidash this week, so yeah, had to come up with a plan involving Rapidash. And the rough idea was like, the worst possible combination of leads would be like a mixture of Talonflame and Mamoswine, or Talonflame and the stupid ghost fucking bird thing, what do you call it, Decidueye. So the Ally Switch was there in case we could do like an Ally Switch into 2 neutral attacks, so like a Levitate ground attack and a Flash Fire attack. That was the plan. So here we go. 5th led with his Persian, Alolan Persian, and the Talonflame. Obviously, Shiny Rapidash being nice and blue, and Bronzong being blue. Yeah. So this is another lead I kind of felt would be kind of likely, whether this was going to be Tailwind on Talonflame or maybe a Taunt on Talonflame. I felt this was kind of yeah, this was something that could definitely be led against us. So we went for the double protect here. I was tempted to run something other than protect on Rapidash, but I thought it was just kind of too crucial. So you can see the Taunt came out there. And Gemma and I had a thought about whether or not we want to reveal Ally Switch here, or whether we want to reveal the Mental Herb. I decided that since he has this Taunt play, that was obviously something that 5th had planned for, so I thought it might actually be better to preserve the information of having the Mental Herb rather than preserving the Ally Switch. Foul Play comes out into Rapidash, which does a decent chunk. It's a semi-offensive Rapidash this week. It does a little bit of damage, but it also has enough bulk to take like I think it was like a Hyper Voice or something. I went away to a wedding and I forgot all my calcs before the game. So anyway, Rapidash survives the turn. But I decide in this instance, unless 5th like makes a really bold call and goes for a fire move into that slot, and it's a special fire move, in which case we'd be in a bit of trouble. But like I figure the likelihood is it's going to be physical Talonflame anyway, so he might just proc my Policy for me. And yeah, so I decided to go for this. Rock Tomb doesn't KO Talonflame because Bronzong's attack is like punching through a wet paper bag. It is Flame Charge from the Talonflame, which is just perfect for us because it obviously makes it even faster, and it does just no damage. Bronzong again, really physically defensive this week to both make the most out of the Body Press, and also to negate anything from like a physical Talonflame or a Decidueye. So now we're at -1 attack and special attack on the Avalugg. However, I can't trigger the Policy here. I was aware that Mamoswine could well be Policy. I think 5th has run. I didn't think he ran that last week. However, my kind of feeling was that if I can get 1 Knuckle Up on this turn 1, then I could Steel Spike it the next turn and get a defense boost on both Bronzong and Avalugg. And that felt pretty safe. Now I knew the Talonflame was physical. I essentially, Avalug's in like no danger here. Even if we do trigger a policy, or it's like a life orb and it's got Steel Spike, it's got Rockfall, like we're in just so, like Avalug is so bulky physically, I felt that we were in a really, really safe position. We had Vickerbolt in the back for Persian, so I knew that wasn't going to be an issue, so it really felt like this was a good time to go on the offensive. Talonflame protects, we get the Rock Tomb off, triggering our weakness policy on Avalug, which puts it at +1, and it's got a pretty chunky attack stat, you know, don't discount it. So I go for the Knuckle this first turn to give myself a little attack boost, so that the Steel Spike next turn is definitely going to KO, and also just to get us back up to that +2 where I'd done all my calcs for. The Mammothswine is policy, goes for a Rockfall, which as you can see, even at +2 doesn't even do half to Avalug. Like it's a really safe position that I'm in here, even with the sand up, which means I'm taking a bit more chip than I'd like. I've got 3 turns of Trick Room left. I've got +2 Avalug and Bronzong with Rock Tomb and Body Press. I can just afford to play pretty safely in these turns. My only real concern is that Primarina's in the back, so again I feel like I need to try and get Primarina in under Trick Room so I can hit it hard with an Iron Head before it can attack me. Because what I don't want to do is be outside of Trick Room, up against a Primarina. There's enough bulk in the Vickerbolt to survive most things from Primarina, but some things at +1, like a single target boosted move at +1 would kill Vickerbolt. So Mammothswine goes down here, which is really, really nice for us, and we get a Rock Tomb into a Persian, breaking a potential Sash. However, the sand would have broken it anyway, so largely irrelevant, but still nice to get a bit of chip damage into the Persian. Things are looking pretty good here. 5th Max is gone, and we're still at +2, and the Talonflame coming in here suggests to me that they're either going to try and like stall this one out, try and get rid of my Trick Room, and then maybe like go on the offensive, or ultimately he just doesn't have a better option at the moment. I toyed with the idea of going for another Steel Spike or a Knuckle into the Persian slot, but I decided against the Knuckle in case there was Decidueye in the back and I end up missing a chance to get either my own weather up with the Hailstorm, or equally to get a boost. Persian goes for the fake out, it doesn't do very much, and I go for the Hailstorm, which in hindsight is probably not correct. I probably should have gone for a Steel Spike to boost our defenses again, but ultimately it was kind of, we're taking KOs. I liked the idea of having the weather around just to keep chipping away at the Talonflame, so if it was Primarina on the other side, I could just ignore it. I could ignore the Talonflame, that is not the Primarina, but it's Decidueye, so I'm feeling reasonably confident that I can stall this one out, win this one out now. I'm so, again, if I haven't mentioned already, I'm really, 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 really physically bulky on both of these Pokemon, so yeah, I was pretty comfortable that we'd be able to stall this one out. Okay, so yep, I aim a Rock Tomb down into that Talonflame slot. Talonflame's Flame Charge just sort of gives Avalug a little tickle, and the Poltergeist comes out, and unfortunately we do reveal the Mental Herb, which is, yeah, it's not ideal. However, Bronzong, there again, don't know if I said this, it's quite physically bulky, and survives the Poltergeist. And it picks up a KO, which is nice for Bronzong. Good for you, Bronzong, for picking up a KO there into the Talonflame. We take the first match, which is a nice position to be in. So this is the this is always the interesting part, right? When you kind of first game goes well like this, and then you kind of think, do I need to switch things up? Do I try and predict what's going to happen next? And my instinct was, I said to Gemma at the time, like, let's, he's definitely going to do this, Fifth's going to do this, Fifth's going to do that. And Gemma's advice was, if it's not broken, don't fix it this week. Don't switch things up. You can just go for the same thing again and let him come to you. See how Fifth's going to try and stall. So I was convinced, actually, like really, really convinced that Gothorita would come now, because I felt like Fifth has to do something to try and kind of stop me getting Trick Room off. And his options, I guess, are sort of twofold. The one being, one option being to kind of to try and just go for full damage, and the other being to deny Trick Room by maybe setting his own Trick Room or imprisoning. I don't know. kind of had a last minute scramble to see if Gothorita gets Trick Room, but I was using my laptop to record this battle so that Gemma and I can play it together on the television. So I didn't have my laptop here, which I was usually used to like Google this stuff or look at calcs or whatever. So I didn't know ultimately. I had a backup plan this week of lagging tail Whimsicott and Assault Vest Golurk, so that if 5th was going for a fast mode, I could try and counteract that in some way. And the Golurk was like very, there's a lot of physical attack in it. Like it does well with the Assault Vest into Primarina. So this time Primarina does come, which is bad news for me. Prim this week was the Pokemon I wanted to see the least. However, the one good thing in this scenario was I felt very comfortable that Bronzong could once again get Trick Room up. There was a potential that like a Max Primarina could kill Bronzong, but judging by the fact that the Mamoswine was being led too, I know a double up couldn't come into that slot. And also I felt very confident that if Primarina maxed this early on in the game, that with a bit of chip damage from Rapidash, I was really confident that a Max Vikavolt would be able to deal with that, and then Avalugg, as we have seen already, deals very well with the rest of this team. So, as it is, Mamoswine maxes and goes for the Aqua Jet, which was the other kind of reasonable assumption from this lead. So Mamoswine gets himself a big boost. Rapidash gets a big wild charge off into Primarina and does some good damage. Like I said, Rapidash did a really good job this week of just getting damage down and doing the things it needed to do to help me get Trick Room set up. Finding a new fondness for the Rapidash, I'm not going to lie, and Bronzong sets Trick Room. I guess the annoying thing in this scenario is that Rapidash is now out under Trick Room and is the fastest Pokemon in the field. However, what that means is this is a pretty free turn for Bronzong right now. I can get a bit of chip into the Mamoswine so that hopefully an Avalugg attack later will take it out. And I've also got a free wild charge into Primarina, because if he doesn't into Primarina, because if 5th doesn't either switch the Primarina out or kind of take out the Rapidash, then I'll definitely get a free attack into that slot. So Bronzong goes for a Body Press, does a nice bit of chip damage, and Mamoswine goes for the Max Quake. So interestingly, had I have gone for an ally switch that time round, would have looked like a bona fide genius. However, I just didn't think it was necessary. Ultimately, I wanted Rapidash to either die or get out of there. Much to Gemma's dismay, we did sacrifice the Rapidash in that position. So here, this is. I noticed the Mamoswine has not protected yet. I didn't know if it had protect. We've seen 3 attacks. We've seen ground, rock, and we hadn't seen ice, but I was presuming there's going to be an ice attack coming on out at some stage. I was guessing the other move is protect. However, my instinct was ultimately that 5th wanted to make the most out of his Dynamax, right? It's the last turn of Dynamax for Mamoswine, and Max Guard isn't going to do him any good. So I didn't think I needed... And again, I felt reasonably confident that we were in a kind of controlled spot, so I could go for damage. Instead of setting off my own policy, I decided what might be best is to protect the Bronzong from a potential Poltergeist, which can do a lot of damage, and just preserve it a little bit. And suspecting that Mamoswine is going to rock for me here and set off my policy. So Decidueye goes for Shadow Sneak, perhaps expecting me to KO it with an Ice move. I go for a Steel Spike into Mamo, which does a nice chunk, boosts the defense of Bronzong and of Avalugg, so that again, just going to beef up those body presses, and the Rockfall does come out, hits Avalugg, does about, a fifth leaf of my damage, of my health rather, sets off the policy, and everyone takes a bit of chip from Sand, and now we've got 2 turns of Max, 2 turns of Trick Room, and a +2 Avalugg again. So that's really, really nice. I go for a Body Press into Mamo here, and again, this is the wrong decision. I think I go for a Hailstorm, when in reality I probably could have gone for a Steel Spike and got another defense boost. But I just, again, there were 2 reasons. One, I wanted to make sure I get the KO if Persian switches in, which it did. So it looks like a great switch, but I still think a Steel Spike was correct. And the second reason is that I wanted to reset whether I wanted to reset Hail because there were a couple of like range, like calcs I could hit on the Avalugg where I survived like a very defensive Primarina special attack, so I didn't want to take any unnecessary chip if I could avoid it. So yeah, there are those reasons. Persian goes down, which is very, very good, and I'm hoping that Primarina comes out here, because if I can take out Primarina, then the game is won. The correct play for the 5th, of course, is to bring out Decidueye rather than Primarina, and so he does. Now we're in this kind of dual thing here. Which target do I take? Full disclosure, Gemma said just target the Mamoswine. Decidueye can't do anything to Avalugg. I overruled, and I was wrong. The Mamoswine switches out into the Prim, and here we see two things. Two really key things, actually. Decidueye protects, so ultimately I get the call wrong anyway. But number two key thing is Body Press comes out, and if I'd have been at plus 2 defense instead of plus 1 defense with Bronzong, which I could have been had I Steel Spiked the turn before, that probably puts Primarina within Hail range that turn. So, however, as I did set up the Hail the turn before, I now have 3 more turns of Hail damage, or 2 more turns of Hail damage, I should say. So I know Decidueye is going to be going down. Gemma, again, actually this time said go for double protect. Just let the Decidueye go down. And so I agreed. I said, well, I'm not going to question you again, Gemma, because the last time I got it very wrong. Poltergeist comes out from Decidueye, and Moonblast comes out from Prim, which I think is probably the wrong move. Actually, now I look back at it, I wasn't sure at the time, but I think is the wrong move, because Hyper Voice really is probably going to pick up Avalugg from here. With the chip damage I've taken, I think Hyper Voice picks up Avalugg. I don't know for certain, and my fifth probably knows the calcs better than me. So, however, what I do know is here, if Avalugg goes down, but I get a Body Press off into Primarina, then I will almost certainly win. Because I don't think Mamoswine can hurt Bronzong at all. I don't think Hail's going to pick up Primarina from here. So the Rock Slide comes out, it doesn't do very much damage to anybody. Moonblast comes out from Prim, and yeah, as I say, all I need is just this, just need to land this attack. But I flinch, which is kind of annoying. Primarina takes Hail damage, and that's going to be the last turn of Hail that actually does damage. So at least Vikavolt gets to come to play, which is kind of nice, you know. Poor little bug. So I know, once again, what I really need is to make sure that I can just get in this 1v1 Prim gone. 1v1 Bronzong v Mamoswine. That is all I need to do. Bronzong versus Mamoswine is the only thing that needs to happen. So Rock Slide comes out, Vikavolt avoids, which is awesome. And Primarina goes for a Hyper Voice here. Doesn't pick up either KO. Vikavolt gets the Energy Ball into Primarina. Primarina goes down, which is really good. However, I flinch again! I flinch again, which is super, super annoying. Now actually puts us in a position where we could lose the game with too many flinches. So I aim a Body Press and I go for a Protect. The reason I go for a Protect here is because it just Bronzong's going to take like 2 or 3 more Rock Slides, so it just gives me as many chances as possible not to flinch with Bronzong, since I'm only taking 6 damage. But thankfully at this time we don't need it, and the Body Press picks up the Mamoswine and we pick up the win. So GG's to Fifth Leaf. He messaged me afterwards to say he went hard on the Mamoswine this week, and ultimately sometimes these things just go like your way in prep, and sometimes they don't. You know, you play to one win con, one idea, and sometimes your opponent just plots to counter that, and that's just how it works. So yeah, we got a 2-0 in the VBA, which is awesome. I'll be back next week hopefully with UDL and VBA videos. I'm trying to be consistent at the moment, so yeah, hope you enjoy it. See you later. Bye.